Humans like to build big and amazing things. Mega projects are huge building projects that are really ambitious. But not all of these projects turned out well. Some even end up being forgotten or abandoned. The Wonderland amusement park in Beijing, China. It started in 1998, and the plan was to make Asia's biggest entertainment park. The builders thought 3 million people would visit each year, but it didn't work out. The project had problems with local farmers and a corruption scandal. Even though they tried to get it finished before the 2008 Olympics in China, it failed. Now, the site of the once promising Wonderland Park is left with overgrown paths and half-finished buildings. It's a reminder of a mega project that didn't succeed. Almost 25 years have passed since the Wonderland Park in Beijing, China was abandoned. What's left now are just the rusty remains of old rides and the outer walls of a castle. It's a big change from the exciting plans they had. Another interesting place is the Memphis Pyramid in the USA. It's one of the biggest pyramids in the Northern Hemisphere. An empty building for a long time, it has a unique atmosphere. This pyramid is a rare modern symbol in America, with a strange past. The Memphis Pyramid in the USA is one of the biggest pyramids in the world. Some people call it the Temple of Doom, and there's a story that it was cursed when a crystal skull was taken from it. This pyramid is a really strange and interesting building in America. Mark Kartz first had the idea for the Great American Pyramid in 1954. The plan was to build 3 pyramids by the Mississippi River, like smaller versions of the famous pyramids in Egypt. When it opened in 1991, there was a big celebration, but there were problems with the toilets, and sewage filled the arena. It closed in 2004 and was empty for 10 years, used only for things like a movie set and a boxing match. Hashima Island in Japan is another interesting place. It's an empty island near Nagasaki and has lots of old concrete buildings and a seawall. The island shows how fast Japan became modern. It's a reminder of the past and now attracts people who are interested in history. Hashima Island in Japan became a symbol of how Japan quickly turned into an industrial country. It's also remembered for sad reasons because people were forced to work there before and during World War II. The island had coal mines that started in 1887 and ran until 1959. At one time, 5,359 people lived there. The coal ran out in 1974 and the mine closed. Then everyone left and the island was empty for 30 years. In the 2000s, people got interested in it again because of its old buildings. It became a tourist place in 2009 and was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2015. The Berlin Tempelhof Airport in Germany was really busy before. It closed in 2008 and then became a public park. This place was used for different things over the years. It was a training ground for troops, and the first flight test there was in 1909. A new terminal was built between 1936 and 1941, called the Mother of All Airports. Torre David in Venezuela was almost finished in 1993, but then the economy got really bad in 1994. It's a tall office building that was left unfinished. It was meant to be a symbol of progress, but didn't turn out that way. Torre David in Caracas, Venezuela, was a 45-story office building designed by Enrique Gomez. More than 750 families lived there, but it wasn't legal or safe. Some people called it a vertical slum. The building was meant to be a symbol of success, like a Latin American Wall Street. But in 1993, the developer David Brillembourg died, and the next year, Venezuela's economy had big problems, and many banks failed. The building was left unfinished, just a concrete frame with glass. Homeless people moved in, making it like a city inside. After 8 years, the people living there had to leave. The Volkshalle in Germany was planned to be a huge building in Adolf Hitler's dream city, Germania. Designed by Albert Speer, it would have had a giant dome bigger than St. Peter's Basilica or St. Paul's Cathedral, and the tallest in Berlin. The dome's size might have made sound control and construction difficult. Speer even thought it might rain inside from the breath and sweat of many people, creating a mini weather system. The Chicago Spire in the USA was planned to be the tallest building in the country. Santiago Calatrava designed it to be a 610-meter-tall twisting tower. However, the funds and the dream for the Chicago Spire fell through. In 2022, a new plan was made for 2 sister skyscrapers in the middle of a new urban park overlooking the lake. The idea of the shell-like super skyscraper faded away. The Dubai Creek Tower in Dubai was inspired by the lily flower. It has an oval-shaped top and ribbed steel wires at the bottom, like flower leaves. Even though the Burj Khalifa has been the world's tallest building since 2010, the Dubai Creek Tower was set to break many records and become a major tourist attraction. It would have viewing decks with 360-degree views of Dubai Creek Harbor and beyond. There were plans for transport links to connect it with Dubai Square. However, the project faced problems. Construction stopped in April 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Almost 2 years had passed with no work on the site, and in 2020, all references to the tower were removed from the project's website. As of December 2020, construction has stopped indefinitely, waiting for the government's approval to resume. In 2017, President Donald Trump signed an order to build and finish the last parts of the border wall between the United States and Mexico. He declared a national emergency and used the 2005 Real ID Act to bypass environmental laws. Experts think the wall could be bad for wildlife. In 2021, President Joe Biden ended the national emergency and stopped the wall construction. He planned to use the money for other projects. In August 2022, a record number of migrants, over 2 million, arrived at the U.S.-Mexico border. The current border wall is a mix of different barriers. In some places, there are no walls, just rivers or mountains marking the border. U.S. Border Patrol uses high-tech tools like cameras, drones, and balloons for surveillance. The debate over building the wall continues. Burj Al Babas in Turkey was a plan to build over 700 small, identical chateaus in central Turkey. The company behind it went bankrupt. The development, started in 2014, was meant to have Turkish baths, sports facilities, a theater, and shops. Now it's an interesting but unfinished town with nobody living in the houses. The Burj Al Babas project in Turkey aimed to build 732 houses, but only about 583 were finished. Now, this unfinished ghost town has become an attraction itself. In London, the Garden Bridge was planned to be a unique structure. It was a tree-lined bridge across the Thames River, connecting Temple to South Bank. Designed by Thomas Heatherwick, the bridge was expected to cost around $260 million to build, plus an extra $3.9 million a year for maintenance. When officials realized the high costs, they were shocked, especially since taxpayer money was involved. Many thought the funds should be used for more important things. The project was eventually canceled, disappointing those who supported it. The Shark Crossing in Doha, Qatar, is a major project designed by Santiago Calatrava. It includes 3 bridges, 2 underwater tunnels, and artificial islands, stretching about 12 kilometers. The project, which is estimated to cost $12 billion, is not a priority for the Qatari government for the next 7 years. The Shark Crossing is more than just bridges and tunnels. It also features a harbor and a unique cable system over the arches of the West Bay Bridge, which are among the largest in the world. The Shark Crossing in Qatar was planned to be a huge project. It was meant to handle 6,000 cars an hour and become a famous landmark. However, like many big plans in Qatar recently, it has been put aside. In North Korea, the Ryugyong Hotel in Pyongyang is a unique building shaped like a narrow triangle and over 300 meters tall. They started building it in 1987, but it's still not finished after over 30 years. Since North Korea has strict travel laws, the delay in finishing a 3,000-room hotel might not be a big problem. There aren't many tourists in North Korea. This hotel is the largest unoccupied building in the world. North Korea's government spends a lot on things like nuclear weapons, and many countries have sanctions against it, making it hard to finish big projects. There were rumors it might open in 2013, but nothing happened. The H3 highway in Hawaii is a beautiful but controversial road. It's 25-kilometer long and connects Pearl Harbor on Oahu's southern coast to the Marine Corps base, Hawaii. The highway is known for being both beautiful and divisive. The H3 highway in Hawaii is a stunning road with arched viaducts and tunnels cutting through mountains, offering breathtaking natural views. It's a must-see for anyone visiting Hawaii. However, the project faced many environmental and native Hawaiian concerns. Originally approved in 1960, the highway faced protests and legal challenges for decades, especially from the late 1980s. Despite environmental complaints, funding from the Department of Defense in 1986 allowed construction to resume, bypassing some environmental regulations. It finally opened in 1997 and became the most expensive interstate ever built. Forest City in Malaysia, a $100 billion project, has faced its own controversies. Spanning 1,740 hectares, it was expected to house around 700,000 people. However, a 2019 report noted only about 500 residents, far below expectations. Since then, the population has increased to several thousand, still under 5% of the planned capacity. Property prices have risen, but the city struggles with attracting owners and tourists. Described as a living paradise and a futuristic green city, some experts have labeled it an ecological risk. These mega projects are fascinating in their own ways, whether for their ambitious goals, troubled histories, or unique features. If you could visit one of these projects or build your own dream mega project, what would it be? Share your thoughts in the comments and explore other interesting topics in our content, and subscribe to our channel for more videos. See you next time.